Hi, I'm Rachel, where I live in faith every day, and this is Life. Welcome to Life! I thought it would be kind of nice to kind of dig into the Bible and see what the Bible has to say about worrying and about life struggles and what kind of promises God has for us. So I just thought it would be nice to kind of share these Bible verses, and hopefully those of you who are struggling out there, whether it be financial, whether it be schoolwork, whether it be relationship issues, family issues, whatever it may be, that God has a promise for everybody and in every situation. So the first verse kind of comes from Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 7. And I'm going to read it out of my new Bible. Look at that. You know, I had it for a little bit, but I didn't really start using it until recently because it was so new and I didn't want to break into it. But might as well, right? So again, it's coming from Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 7. And it reads, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." So this is something that I think I have been struggling recently, and I think a lot of us who has been going through some trials and tribulations in our church have been struggling with is, a lot of us have been getting attacked, getting tempted, and all of these things. And it could be financial issues. I think financial issues is like always a constant struggle, but relational issues, false rumors running around, false information, misunderstandings, and all of these things. And God says that when we He knows our struggles, He knows our every difficulties and everything that we might be going through, and He knows what's going to happen. He knows what our needs are, and so He's saying, don't worry, and put your faith in me. And the disciples had Jesus throughout Jesus's time, and He was right there, and He was doing all of these miracles and all of these things right in front of them, and they still worried, and they still got scared, and they still had fears. Even when Jesus was sleeping on the boat, and there was an entire, I think it was a thunderstorm, and the waves were like crashing and all of that stuff, and they were getting terrified, and they were just like waking Jesus up, like, Jesus, wake up, like, we're gonna die soon, or things are gonna happen. And Jesus was like, calm down, see. And then He's like, oh, you of little faith, I'm like right here, and you think that God's gonna let anything happen to us. And it's like, wow, even the winds and the seas obey Him. And it's crazy because I think we forget that God is a very powerful being and He has our lives taken care of. He's not going to let anything bad happen to us if we trust Him and if we let Him take care of us. So that's the first verse. And then it says in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, right? It says, "Cast all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you." He cares for us. He's not going to let anything happen. When the Israelites didn't have any food, He would, pour down manna for them to eat and to have food. Mathew 6:25. "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes?" So I think I shared this verse a few times, and it's like, life is more than just about food. Life is more than just about clothing and, I have my own clothing, I have my own stuff that I really enjoy, like accessories and all that stuff, but then it's really not that very important. And these are not things that you need to worry about. What you need to worry about is your relationship with God and your relationship with others, and that's the more important thing. And God is letting us know, hey, what you are worrying about is meaningless compared to what you really need to worry about, or not, right? Mathew 6:34, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And I think that is so true, because whether we like it or not, there's going to be trouble everywhere we go. People are going to dislike us. It's like God is saying, don't worry about tomorrow, and just live it for the moment. And thank God for the moment. Thank God for what you have. And I think when we are stuck in this worry of, how is God going to provide for us? How is God going to financially, provide for us? I need to work and I need to do all of these things. But at the end of the day, God's like, that's not the most important thing. Drop everything and follow me. When he was talking to the rich young ruler, he was just like, okay, you do all of these things. Okay, now give all of your possessions away, all of it, not some of it or most of it, all of it away, and follow him. And I think in a lot of ways, I am being tested in that sense of dropping everything and following him. And I think it's one of the most difficult things to do. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about myself, that I do have a lot of fears, a lot of worries and a lot of anxieties, especially when it comes to financial issues or, things of that matter. Like, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to have enough to buy cat food, or have enough to buy the medication that I need and all that stuff? But, I think I need to start trusting and believing God a lot more than I am now. And I think that is what God is trying to tell me with all of these things. It's like, God always provided for me financially, whatever it may be. He always provided at the very moment that I needed it. And so I'm just like constantly thinking, why am I worrying about this? Why am I stressing about it? Because every time God somehow takes care of me financially, and I'm just like, how? I don't know, but he always seems to provide. So in my mind, I'm thinking, why am I worrying about this again? He's provided for you all the time. And then in my head, in my logical sense, I'm just thinking, what about this time? This time it's different from all the other times. So how is he going to do it? And in my limited understanding, right? And in the Bible, it says, lean on not your own understandings, because God understands a lot more that's going on. He sees a lot more than what we can see. And in my limited visual field, I'm just thinking, how is this going to happen? How is God going to take care of me? How is God going to provide for me? And he's always provided for me somehow or another. I have no idea how, but somehow or another, God has always provided. So why am I worrying about it again? Why am I worried about it every single time this happens? And it's like a constant struggle of mine. And I think, I don't know what it's gonna take for me to be like, okay, God, here you go, and I know you're gonna take care of me. There was a verse that I really, really liked. Let me see if I can find it again. Here's one. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. And it reads, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. So if we are doing God's work and if we are doing God's will, then he will always provide. He will always, always take care of us. Really easy to forget God's promise. And it's really easy because we're so used to the world of people that we care about breaking those promises or any promises with us. And it's like, how can we trust? We learned to not trust promises because there were too many promises that were not fulfilled and not taken care of. And unfortunately, God kind of has to break that in our hearts, that hardening in our hearts, to say, hey, guess what? This is a promise, and God can't break promises, because if he breaks his word, then he's not a God. God, that's one of those things that God cannot do, is he cannot lie, because in what he says, it will happen, whether, he wants it to or not. He cannot lie. It's not like he doesn't want to lie, so he's not doing it. It's literally, he cannot lie. His words become reality, so he cannot lie. So when he does provide a promise, it's not something that he can break. So that involves everyone. Everyone that believes in him, that has accepted him. If you decided to follow God, then it is what it is. It's not anything different. It's not like, oh, he may or he may not. It's he will. So you will have what you need. I don't know how, but he always, 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 always provides. So in that sense, I guess I wanted to remind myself, reassure myself, and also maybe for those of you who are out there who are worrying about different things, that here are some promises that God has given us. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the bell button. And till next time, bye guys.